Seconded.
Second,
All
excellent.
in favor? Aye.
All in favor? Aye, yes. So what we're doing today is we are reviewing, we're gonna be deliberating on the public service applications that were presented to us. And we have a total of 12 of them. And in between the public service presentations and now Craig, the director, has been able to supply us with some additional information on these, which I think is really key. We have used in the past, prior to recommending any funding per application, we have used in the past a system that I thought very good that Les put in place, basically ranking them on A, B, C. As opposed to that, what I'm suggesting, because of the information that Craig and Steve have presented, more like a pass-fail system in terms of, because that's really sort of what it is. It's like, I'm not gonna give an application a C if last year they didn't provide any sort of documentation. That's gonna be essentially a fail or an unmet. That is, I would propose we can start with, satisfactory or unsatisfactory, maybe is better to call it. Where all the applications, let's say, rank them in terms of an S and an unsatisfactory, an S and a U. A U meaning, and I just want to make sure that we all understand your comments so that we can rank them correctly. But I understand, for example, that Big Brothers Big Sisters, for example, when you say no invoicing.
Right, I mean, when they did the presentation, they spoke on Zoom, I basically very subtly told them that he hadn't submitted any invoices to us,
So he got no money.
Well, he's got money now for the CDBG CV, but he's, like I said in my email, if people give us our reports on a timely fashion and somebody else, they do invoicing, like, I mean, I haven't looked at anything, there's although I missed one, people who are on track, children replacement, they've got the reports in, they've drawn down funds,
Yep.
Madonna Place.
So that would be, let's just, if we could actually have you walk us through them, might as well. I mean, when we start with children replacements, that would be a pass.
Yes, they would, they
Okay.
definitely pass, yeah.
So Martin House advocacy placement, that's a new application, so we don't really know.
That's right, it's a new request, so
Okay, so let's skip to the next one, Big Brothers Big Sisters.
yeah, so I don't know if they've gotten CDBG before, but they do have CDBG CV. I did tell him that he should get his invoicing in as well as his reports, and we haven't received anything,
Do
Do they
don't
have,
invoice?
excuse me one second, do they have, just to clarify, they have 10,000 in CDBG CV funds. They also received an additional 15,000 last year from CDBG. Am I reading this correctly?
I think the 49, no, they didn't receive anything, because I guess they took the CDBG CV.
Yeah, they did not receive anything from the entitlement last year.
Okay, got it. So they're working with 10,000 from the CV funds.
That's right.
Okay, got it. What, in your estimation, would you say pass or fail with them? What's your read? Because you're the one that's gonna be overseeing.
I mean, I worked years ago with the Big Brother Big Sisters, and they were on track. I mean, and I told him very passively that he should get his stuff in, and we've been doing that, with some people. We've been tracking them down and saying, you're gonna get that in. I mean, like Thames River. Their executive director left. She said she'd get an invoice to us. She didn't. So Sandy reached out to the finance person. She goes, oh, you want that right away? Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to get them to move them along, so.
So if you don't get an invoice, do you distribute funds?
No, you can't do that. You gotta,
So Big Brothers and Big Sisters, the 10,000 that they requested last year and we approved.
They've never drawn down.
they're sitting on it. That's it.
Right, so I'm gonna say, you unsatisfactory right now. They've had we can change things, but that's what I'm putting down for them right now, because you don't have anything. NHS, both Norwich Works and Housing Assistance Programs. I know that Housing Assistance is new, but you've worked with them in the past, or we've worked with them in the past. I mean,
Well, we're gonna meet with them tomorrow too about getting their stuff in terms of, because they are a city department, so.
Right.
So one of the things is, we want to make sure that they are drawing down payroll directly through the Munis system. But they haven't done a draw yet, and so, or they have one in yet, so, and so we want to get that all
but
straightened
their
out.
city department, I don't see you all having really an issue working with them, in that.
The only
Well, I mean,
question I have is that, is there a federal limit on drawdowns? Cause I know for me, like, in grants, so we've had like a 3-day hold, right? So if you draw down, has to be spent in those 3 days, the 3-day rule.
The city funds it. Unlike a lot of communities, a lot of people time it very quickly, like
Does
you
that
say.
impact you guys?
Well, I mean, we haven't done a draw yet.
Okay.
It impacts us because, as I said, I gave you out this timeliness sheet. We've got to spend this money. We got to spend over $500,000 by July 1st. So people have to start spending their money. I mean, that's a thing. So
so what's your feeling with NHS, both of them, the works and the housing assistance?
well, I mean, we're going from 70 to 95, because they funded their employee specialists with ARPA funds, which have run out. And that was funded by Treasury guidance, so there's a little confusion there that we're gonna meet and talk to them about, because now they're gonna go to CDBG and it's HUD, so it's a different story, It's like I said, anybody who's funded with CDBG, if the funds ran out, and that probably is not gonna happen ever in our lifetimes, but still, if they did, that person would either
Sure.
be
Be done.
let go or, they're limited term, that's what they are, so.
Can you get some spreadsheet up there? Do you have one developed that you can share?
Oh,
On the
which one?
screen itself?
Oh, the one I gave you guys with the numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you could go, then we could all, have it up there and see it.
You mean,
So I
The
just,
spreadsheet?
I guess my
No, it's
question is,
this one that they've.
Oh.
Yeah,
I guess then it's really up to you. I mean, do you want to say pass for both of them right now?
sure, I'd say pass,
Okay.
Okay.
Immigration Advocacy Support Center, IASC. You have unable to pay, and I guess I was looking for a little bit more clarification. That is, I have a U for them right now. I think the program is good, but at the same time, if you're unable to pay them because they're not invoicing, that's okay.
So I don't have internet access yet, but if I wanna answer the question. So what I want to say is for Big Brother, Big Sisters, the Norwich Human Services, we do have reports. So we don't have invoices for from Big Brother, Big Sisters, but we have reports, which means they are working, they just haven't invoiced us. And the invoice have to be submitted at the same time with the report so we can draw
Okay.
down the money. But I, in my opinion, is different, not been doing anything, but we just haven't,
Okay.
we haven't invoiced. And to answer your question about the immigration advocacy, so what happened, they actually submit the report, but the report asks for new clients. That's the unduplicated. That's the problem. That was the issue with them. They submit the report on time, but they put 0 in there. They, on the narrative of the report, explain that they have certain clients in they say how and all of that, but then none of them were new because of the immigration process is such a long process.
I see.
That
I
could
see.
be an
Right.
auditing
So
issue.
But they're still serving them.
correct. So they submit an invoice for a little bit over $1,000. And when I saw the report that it was 0 there, I red flag it. And that's when we were going there for a monitoring. So we want to meet with them and ask what was going on. They explained that to us. And that's when we advise them that if this client is new for this year, then it's a new client for that grant, for that program year. So they are to submit the second report with, putting in consideration the advice we give them. So that's the situation.
So how does that change? Right now, we have you for them. And I think what they do is justifiable. I know that this committee really likes them, but it's really, you all are the ones that are gonna be overseeing, you know, the management of these grants, and honestly, I mean, do you think that they're viable in terms of giving you the invoicing and the reporting that you're gonna need?
I think all of these subrecipients need help in terms of getting their reporting in. I mean, that's what I heard. When I did they did their presentation, I said, he's gonna need help, she's gonna need help, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't met these people directly, but right now I'd say, you know, they're in this category of pending, you know, we'll come back and look at them, but you're right, they're.
They lost their attorney from last year.
Right.
And
But they got, it looks like they've got a very capable
Sure.
one
yeah,
this year.
it looks like they've got somebody
So maybe after
who's
a year.
been
Right.
doing.
Maybe the possibility is that you can work with them this year, like, let's say they don't receive any funding, but you can still work with them to set them up so that next year they're ready to go. I mean,
Well, that in the monitoring letter you put together, right, it was a
Yes.
question about getting back to HUD and talking about how immigrants are treated in terms of the way HUD sees them and stuff like that, and
Sure.
I remember when I worked at HUD, I remember that was like peripheral, not to mine, because I didn't work with any immigrants, but you know, if they get a letter back to us, we'll run it up the chain and see what happens. Yeah, we'll work with people to make sure they get up to the
yeah,
a standard that they need, you know?
and question, if they don't, let's say they're not, no funding, this cycle is recommended to them, let's say, you know, halfway through, you you find that you have, you know, an extra 10,000 or something.
Yeah.
At a later date, is it possible to award them, or is this?
Well, it's a recapture. I mean, like I said, we're
Like
gonna,
during the recap?
We're gonna have 46,000.
yeah, in terms of CV, I think anybody who's unsuccessful tonight, I would encourage them to come back if they could tailor their program to meet the parameters of CV, you know, prevent, repair.
And when is that gonna be, the recapture, basically?
Well, after we get done here, maybe give us a month to get our stuff going with this. We can, and if the committee is available, we can meet very quickly. Once we put out an RFP for them to come back with something. I know Madonna Place wants more money and they're very capable. I don't know if we can give them more money because there's still some other people out there that might
Okay,
have a greater need, you know?
but that's a possibility then, that if they don't get something this round, that there's a possibility that they could have a month and a half to get things together and come back.
Yeah.
In place with a roughly.
We've got to
40,
trim off
45,000
170,000.
What's that?
We've got to trim off something like 170,000 of public requests, so.
In fact, I mean, I did use for some of these and still came out with 88 overage. You know, and then adjusted down. I'm not saying this is how we go. I just wanted to play it to sort
Yeah.
of see, so. Okay, so this is really helpful. So, that was a U for, did you say you don't have anything to put up right now?
I don't have internet connection here for whatever reason, so I cannot access my desktop right now.
I wonder if you can't share something on Teams itself, or, I guess you're using Zoom.
Yeah, it's because I don't have it on my laptop. The way I do it is I connect to my desktop remotely, but I don't have an internet access here. Oh, let me see.
But we'll keep track of it, you know?
Okay, so you're right, so let's keep going then. So that was immigration advocacy, so names for community service, stability for young adults. I didn't see any comments. And they, from you regarding them?
Well, it's a new request from them. They had been
Okay,
in the mix back in 2022.
okay,
And they have a CV account in the amount of 22,275, but we didn't receive any invoices, and their new executive director had been on the job 14 months, left last Friday. So
got it.
they're kind of between people. I mean, I used to work with Thames River, the previous director, Kathy Allen, and they were excellent, you know, but they were.
But so I would give them a U right now. They're kind of in limbo. TCBVA, homeless prevention, they did submit additional documentation and outcomes projections, as you mentioned, but my question, 20,000 CV and CDBG for past performance?
Right, we met with them yesterday,
Okay.
and there was a little bit of confusion because they have other sources of funds that they were gonna hold on to the CDBG funds, the 20 that they have this year, and use it later in the year, which doesn't help us because we've got to get our time limits down. I said, look, you've got $40,000. Look at it. I mean, and homelessness is supposedly a big issue, so just use the
Spend it.
funds, you know, I mean, you know, if you don't have funds that expire in May, all right, use them, but or use ours a little bit, you know, just so you're not down to August and you gotta spend the whole 20, you know, so I think they're on track now because we eliminated some of that confusion.
So do you think, because by what you just said, I would have a tendency to give them a U right
I
now.
give them an S. in my-
Would you?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So what I'm getting a sense of is there's some discontinuity of continuance in the employment, you know, the person that you're in contact with a lot of these groups.
It sounds like it. I mean, you know, I told her that, I mean, in terms of sub-recipients I've worked with, these people need a lot of TLC, you know, which is the case. And maybe they haven't gotten it over the past couple of years and they really need a lot of work and, you know, we're willing to do that and stuff like that, but some of them are really
You don't
know,
want them to have a big spend down.
Well,
the low end, you know, yeah.
Sure.
Well, you know, when the director left last Friday.
Right.
You know, and this, it seems to be a common theme where, you know, well, maybe it wasn't last night, Friday, but it was, you know, 3 months ago, very much like, immigration advocacy.
Right. I mean, it does happen. I mean, people, they had immigration had somebody that quit last summer, you know, and then they had to get a new director that started.
Can you have on like Catherine's space?
Yeah.
Can you, do you have
sometimes it's
Excel?
not a good fit for people. Or.
'Cause-
Yeah, I
they get a
do.
better
Even if
opportunity,
you
I
don't
guess,
share
and-
it,
No.
if you could
I
just
mean,
bring up,
James River had
bring
two,
up
three
Excel
second directors.
and put
Some
in these
since the
numbers.
1992
But
when it
actually,
started.
you should be able to, if
Let
you're,
me
if you're sharing the
open it.
meeting, then you should be able to share an Excel
Yeah, let me
spreadsheet up
share
there.
it. Yeah, I'm
So,
just.
yeah, so if you can put
out
an Excel spreadsheet up there with these figures of the amount requested right here. Because we're gonna need to, as we're playing around with, you know,
I mean,
recommendations,
it's just a bad.
we're gonna
it was
need to
bad.
come out
Like,
with,
look
for
at
example,
every-
this is what I did, you know,
Yes,
like
Monster.
how
Well,
much,
that's
so it
factory.
comes to zero, right?
No, I,
So I had some recommendations, but they're gonna be,
You know,
kind of changing a little bit.
personally, I would,
It's careless spend downs at the end.
Right, oh, yeah.
Are you really,
It's
are
not
you
fun
comfortable
chasing
with
people
Excel?
down.
It's not.
Yeah.
And when they have.
That's
I mean, I'm not.
right, and then you're like
Nothing
spend, spend,
against-
spend, spend,
nothing-
spend.
yeah.
and it's
I
like,
do,
they just
I
feel the
do
pressure
stuff like that all
and
day.
A lot of mismanagement of dollars.
So if you want me to, I'd be happy.
I actually, I have the sheet on my computer ready. We can, if I can access that one, we can work with that one.
So homeless prevention, and we had an S for that. So Madonna Place, you said they're on track.
Yeah, so they're an S.
That's an S.
And
And
TVCCA is an S, I'd say.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, I put that down as an S. And then Safe Futures.
They're on track too. I
Yep.
mean, they've given us our reports and they've drawn down money.
Last one then United Way of Southwestern
Well,
Connecticut.
we did Martin House.
Yeah.
You're right, yeah.
That'd be an S. Okay. So
United Way was a,
we are with all the S's, and I can tell you in a second here, we are over by 118,000,
Oh, look at that.
right? So then basically, because we only have 217 to spend, and we're already over budget by 118.
Did we do children in placement and?
Yes, we did.
yeah, that we gave a pass to.
Okay.
So basically, okay, so yeah, so if you get up an Excel right there on that,
I had
yeah,
the form,
just-
hold on.
pull an Excel, any Excel straight up.
I had the form already, Gemma. Is that what you want me
Find
to?
one that you've already done.
Yeah, the one that you,
Okay.
oh, sorry, people 50.
would you say one what? How much over one what? 118?
This is what I had done earlier,
Mhm.
and so it was an 88 overage, but then because we gave this one right here, I had a 0 for it, because we gave
the TCVVA and S, then I've added 30,000 into this, so means we're a total of 118 over.
I concur.
All right. All right.
So slow. Hold on.
So now there has to be a new thought of process.
Okay, great, yeah, perfect. So basically,
Hold on. That's the one now. Just.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
this is,
Now we can come down to,
We know is actually 100% serving Norwich
yeah, go
residents.
back to sheet one and just do a copy of it.
here is the one that I just gave you guys. That's what you want, so I can start plugging in the numbers.
So, yes, absolutely. So start loading and we're just gonna load in the numbers, the ones where we have recommended S. So children placement, 30,000.
Yeah, that's right here.
So put it in the recommendation column.
Okay.
And then Martin House, 25,000.
Up the bottom.
So, yeah,
Okay.
NHS Norwich Works, 95,000. NHS Housing Assistance Program, 75,000. PCVVA Homeless Prevention, 30,000. Madonna Place, 20,000. Safe Futures, 15,000. United Way of Southwestern Connecticut, 45,000.
And,
I think that 45.
Yeah, and so then just run a total.
yeah.
Oh,
335.
So. Can you do a bold for that 335? And then can you add another space, another line on 23 so that we've got two spaces?
Where?
The whole thing, so go left to 23.
23.
Road.
To the road 23.
This is what I was
yeah.
thinking. Yeah, if you go left to 23 and then go ahead and
Add another
just-
line.
yep, add another line.
Mhm.
And then right here, go ahead and put right underneath the 335, put 217, negative 217, sorry.
17.
Thousand. Yeah. Okay. And then basically, and then total these two lines. And then have the 118 as being read, please. You are awesome.
Perfect. There you go. All
I'd
right.
say, but I'd say.
Yep, you may move, yeah, it's always good to back and say.
Okay, so that's where we're at.
Okay,
Um. For now, we just have to whittle away, little things away. I'll tell you, if you want, does anyone have, is anybody here assured of getting full funding? Does anybody feel like? they're
No,
in the
actually, I
application?
was just doing some quick and dirty reductions on virtually every pass. Because I don't think it's. While I would like it all to be, to fully fund. I just don't see how we can do it.
We don't have it. I mean,
We don't have the funds.
you want me to give you some quick and dirty numbers right now and then we can play with.
Yeah, go ahead.
We gotta start
fully
somewhere, right?
fund then.
Okay, and it's not gonna work out. We're gonna still be over by 30,000, but so then. what I'd like you to do is keep that, okay, so then, the top one, children in placement,
Mhm.
change the 30 to 17. And then, Martin House, drop down to Martin House, change that to 5.
Where's Martin House?
So they're
Nice.
leaning on.
Oh,
shaving
no,
off a little bit
never
for
mind.
everybody.
NHS Norwich Works, 90,000. You know what, change that to 75. And then, NHS Housing Assistance Program, change that to 55. Or put in 55, yeah.
What was Martin House again?
I would eliminate the United Way.
Madonna Place,
To be honest.
15,000. Safe Futures, 5,000. United Way, 15,000. PCVVA Homeless Prevention, 15,000.
Can't use it all.
How much?
15.
15?
Yeah.
Yep.
Could you tell me what Martin House was reduced to?
5,000.
Such a
This is just, and we're still 15,000, we're still 15,000 over. Well, so you could do NHS Norwich work 60,000 and then you got it. And then what I'd like is I'd like to go around and hear ideas in terms of, moving these things around, at least trying to get a
Something.
balance so that we can spend.
Yeah, I guess I guess in my mind, I'm still looking at trying to fully fund people to what they ask for, because I think when you give them less, which we all know and experience, they can't use it, then we have a problem with the extra money. That's happened. What is the strong support of United Way with the food bank? I mean, I feel like United Way has a lot of resources. I understand. I mean, is that the tracking was an issue? We have one that had an application that it wasn't fully completed. I mean, could some of those just be?
So are you in favor of United Way Food Bank 15 or you want to reduce
I
them?
mean, I feel like that could be a no
The
fund
tracking
this
could be an
year.
issue.
Yeah,
So if we did 0 for them.
yep. Could we then start to maybe think about fully funding some of the others more back in their way?
If we
I mean,
do
5,000 is a
0, if we do
small-
0 for them. What's, no,
Well, we have a 30,000 over here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
but
going
we
on?
took away from a lot of others.
Something's going on with that, but
Want me to put back?
I mean,
the-
$5,000 is not much for the Martin House to work.
You want me to put the 15,000 or no, back into United Way?
well, put the 15,000 back in. I'm just looking at your formulas here. So this- so that 30,000 is a negative balance, but then when you take off the 15, it becomes 45. So are we?
Yes.
Could that go back into Norwich
So
Works?
what happened with the formula is what I'm looking at.
3.
You look at your 187, what is that?
Yeah,
Go up to 187 and hit that, and see what it says.
The 11.
So you have 11 and 21, 11.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're picking up too much though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah,
the
yeah.
numbers I came.
It says
There's
11.
there's
Okay.
something wrong with the formula here.
No, it's actually worth $30,000 left to spend,
20.
I believe.
This is 20. Yeah, I think
Put in
it's 20.
12, yeah, there's 12, not 120. Just hit it. No, it's wrong.
No, hold on.
That should be 11 to
It's because we only want to take
11
this.
to 21.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I think I see what it is. So who was
Yeah,
seven
You need to take that 17,
back?
take that 17 out.
Yeah.
And then start from the 17, draw it all the way down. Draw it down one more, yep, and now hit that. Okay,
Right.
No, it's better. So you want me to take the 15,000 now?
well, now we're looking at,
Or 15,000?
we have a total of 187.
Yeah, you lost your 217 below it, so. Yeah, right there.
But what I'm getting at is, okay, so that 30,000 then is correct, so we can dump 30,000 back into it, we just took too much out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
So. You're recommending then, you wanna put another 15 in United Way? To bump them up to 30? or you
No, I
wanna
was
try-
wondering if,
Or less?
I was thinking less and then there's more to put back to match again, fully
Okay.
funding the programs that.
So what's your recommendation? Who do you wanna bump up?
Do we want to bring back Norwich Human Services and Norwich Works and Norwich Housing?
Those two are solid. D 95 and 75, let's see what we have. 95.
Oh,
That's okay.
95
Yep, that's okay.
Hold on, yeah.
and 75. There. Too much.
And if we didn't fund United Way, 15.
Maybe
And
this one.
I mean, I think if we are not going to fund the Martin House, then I mean, I think $5,000 is not much, so I mean. I would get rid of that. It was. If they're not gonna fully fund them, I mean, the state can. Contribute to dollars on that. And then what, you're 5,000 over?
5,000, yeah.
Yeah, could be safe future, well, I understand how.
So we could keep, I don't know, I mean, Safe Futures, they have a good track record, they do a really good job. We could take 5,000 from Norwich Works. And Safe Futures gets to at least keep that 5,000.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Is that what they asked for? Yeah, safe future asked for
15, I think.
50, okay, they didn't give them 10.
Yeah,
Fine.
It's still 5 over, no,
Well, 5 over.
full 5,000 from Norwich Works.
Okay.
You know, that's the lion's share
85.
of the
85.
funding
Okay, okay.
goes to a Norwich
Well, as we can track. that,
public service.
But that is,
You know, this has always been my complaint that the slush fund for Norwich municipal administration ends up being, it seems like it comes from, the HUD grant program.
but in terms of compliance, though, isn't that something we can control a little bit more when we're dealing with our own city department? Because we can track our city residents and we know that they're not going to be able to serve people outside of our catchment area.
Well, there is
And they
that.
have a great program.
I'm just saying that there's
But
a
absolutely.
there's a strong, strict guidance with what they can serve in their catchment area, so we can monitor compliance. I understand
No, I
the mentality of the slush fund, I get it, but it's what we can control with compliance. We can't really get compliance on 100% of outside agencies that are covered.
No, I understand. I
I know.
take that for granted. It's the other side. The non-public services that I've always,
But at the same time, what I really
It's
like, what I have hope for is that in, a month or two, working with, some of these applicants, if we've got, if we've got, another 45,000 maybe to go ahead and allocate that, they
We
can
can-
get up to
yeah.
par with
No,
that
we
kind of
can-
compliance.
And that comes from public services, so it should go back into public services.
100%, right? That would be great.
Yeah.
Larry, I'd really like to hear what you're thinking. You're part of this committee, speak up.
No matter to me. What is this? How come how do you get that figure, 217?
Okay, that's the total amount that we can spend, period, by law.
Yeah, you got all these other people yet, so how do you come
Well-
up with that figure?
For public services.
Yeah, all we have is 217 to spend, to fund for those applicants, right there.
So how much you got to spend for the rest of them now?
The rest of the allocation that HUD gives us, but we can't draw from the rest of those monies to fund any of these guys. We only have 217 to be able to fund these. That's just the way things break down. So that's why we're playing with things to come out with 217, because there are a lot of really good applicants there. But at the same time, if you only have 217 to spend, and I know, I mean, and that's just the way it is. If we could, maybe then we have the remaining balance for the 3 non-public service.
Yeah,
But that's
that's,
the way it is.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, that's the 217, that's the cap. We can't exceed that for those applicants. So that's why we were playing with those numbers.
So the other ones that you have unsatisfactory, they're gonna go under another total amount?
Nope. They're not.
No,
gonna
they-
fund
they-
it.
Funded.
they don't get,
What?
they get unguns.
They would not be they would not be
Nothing.
funded this time, this round.
They're gonna get nothing, none.
They would not get funded this round.
Yeah, we have 217 of the 806 that we can put towards what's called public services. And the public is the ones that are unaffiliated with the city, which is why I wonder why Norwich Human Services comes under.
Well, okay, but it's not so much unaffiliated with the city, it's that what they do is they provide services to the public rather than physical structures, okay?
Yeah.
They don't build stuff, but they help in other ways, for example, education, job training, food, things like
And
that.
they have to be
Right.
residents.
But they don't actually build some physical thing that you can wrap your hands around. So it's kind of, I mean, if you want to look at it that
Look
way,
at it that
it's
way.
not so much city and non-city.
Mhm.
It's more sort of the type of help that they're providing. You can provide help to somebody by giving them, a really nice sidewalk, right? But you can also provide help to them by, helping them get their GED so they get a better job.
Yeah.
And they can move off of that sidewalk,
And they could buy a house and then they could change the sidewalk.
right? So,
They can
so
put a
with that
tree
in
in
mind,
front of it.
Larry,
Well
I
said.
mean, with those, that's why we're,
That's
that's
why.
why we're playing with those numbers to try to get it to 217. We just don't have a choice. We only have 217, like it or not, for those. So are any of those public service ones, those applicants, did they stand out to you? You're looking at those numbers, they're not hard and fast. I'd really like your, but. And the unsatisfactory, really, I mean, it's as we were saying, if they don't provide the documentation at the end of the day, then. The
Probably
CDB,
like to see a little bit more go to the children placement. Take a little bit more away from the Norwich Works and the Norwich Housing.
and more toward children placement.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're fully funding Norwich Works, aren't we? Or
Let's
is it
do that
Norwich
then,
Housing?
because that's a great program, absolutely.
Yeah,
How much
Norwich Housing.
more do you want to children in placement?
Maybe another 5,000, because it has to do with children and anything that has to do with them, I
So-
like to see money.
Yeah,
So
Pulse.
bump that to 22.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and pull 5 from housing assistance.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there.
I'm good with that.
What about any others?
The other ones look good.
Good recommendation, Larry.
Agree.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Right?
Aye. Let's move on. Can we do the non-public service? Or should we have another meeting instead?
No,
I can't come back on Thursday. I'm trying to
Okay,
go on
so-
vacation.
was that too quick?
Sure, I'd rather get us, if we can do it tonight, it'd be great. I have to go on vacation for the next 4 days.
We still got 15 minutes.
So with that, can you scroll up on that, so that we can see the bottom a little bit? Just, yeah, and then give us a space, another space like you did under.
We have,
The United Way, so that we have a full total and that we see, you know.
we have 589 on.
You want me
non-public
to-
service.
Yeah. Give us another line there, please. What was that?
We have 589 to allocate towards public.
That's what we
services.
have, 589?
Well, I just
No.
wanted to interject too. We still have the CD admin for the
Yes.
office for the. And also 61.
Oh,
I got, just my quick math, 427, 745. But
you're
Alright, so
probably right
let's
about
move
that,
the one
'cause I didn't,
sixty-one two up there, and let's take Craig's number and dump that into that space right there.
What
Or
number you
what?
came out with?
427, 745.
yeah, roughly 428. If we don't go to the smaller numbers.
All right.
And I just want to say that, Mr. Gorman was wrong. I don't know what he said, whatever the word rescind, or he didn't take the money. That money is still there. That
Yeah.
$12,020.80. So, whatever you give them, it's still there because it still needs to be spent.
So you're saying that they could, so they would have whatever we would allocate to them.
Plus
around
other-
plus the 12.
Plus the 12.
So it's sitting there, but it's allocated for them.
It
Even
can't
though
be
they haven't touched it,
reallocated to
It's still there.
anywhere else.
It's there. I mean, that's why I gave you this timeless thing. That's what happens sometimes.
Right.
Communities.
Got it.
Again, it goes back
Okay.
to, this is what we expect from Public Works. Sort of. It goes back to the spreadsheet that had
Alright, so
duplicate
let's
items.
start with Rosewood Manor, and put in 200 for 'em.
You know what, I forgot to ask Johnny what would happen if we didn't fully fund it. It's like the only really note I have here.
You know what, though? I mean, their track record.
Is phenomenal.
And
And who do they serve? The other than children, they're the least helpless.
then CD, yeah, so basically, so put in 200 for, please, for Rosewood Manor.
Definitely.
And put in 250 for CD property rehab.
You can't put in two,
Well,
Put in and see where we're at.
we're over.
okay.
I know.
Oh, you have to,
I just wanna know, like, by how much. So, okay, so basically, give us an overage of what we're, not a total.
You gotta make that 427
Percent
negative. so
negative.
it's track it.
It's still 427,800, no? Correct. I thought,
That's what we got to work with, so.
oh gee, Because of the five-
Put a negative in front of it,
yeah, 427.
427, and then hit enter. Don't hit another cell.
427, 745 as well.
And would you please make that red? Or, no, that's not the one to be red. So we've got a total of that, then we've got a. Alright, so we,
22
so,
over?
yeah, just do the
Yeah, it's-
22 red, do the 22 red.
yeah,
please.
that's,
22 is awesome.
Okay, I just wanted to do that just so we could have something, I mean, I get it.
No, that's great. I love
Okay,
it.
cool.
I love it. It's great.
right. I hate to do it. I say we don't fund DPW. I agree.
Okay.
I hate it. But. They've gotten from us pretty regularly for up until the last 3 years.
I'd like them to be a lot more engaged actually with different departments in the city, maybe speak to Deanna Rhodes, maybe speak to, I mean, you know.
And I agree with you.
It's so
Engagement is,
Very objective. Again, I'm very logical, so while I may have a emotional feeling towards wanting to put sidewalks into the communities, you definitely have sold it on me. I'm good with it, especially when you weigh it up, I'm very, very logical. So I come down to numbers, so I am fully in support. And I don't want to just throw them pennies just to. Like, I
Right.
think that's disrespectful,
Right,
so.
so here's a
So-
question, that 12,000 though, that's sitting there,
Yes,
can we
could we pull
recapture
that back?
we'd have to recapture it, some of that, and see what else might be there, you know, but probably not right away.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
Well, if they don't use it this year, they're gonna lose it, don't
that's
they?
right, and he seemed like, in their mind, it's lost already, whatever
Right.
word he used, I don't know what.
so
it
then
was.
theoretically, if we meet in another month and a half, we might see an additional 12,000 as recapture on top of that 40 something?
No, that,
You-
one's CDBG
Different.
CV,
Got
and
it.
the other one's CDBG, so, you
Understood.
know.
Understood. So what if we take, if Rosewood is kind of budgeted for that 200,
Why don't we
and
pull
we're-
7 from
we
Rosewood?
took 22 from, 22 to 255, if I can read that correctly, from rehab.
That's what I was gonna.
Yeah.
Larry,
For that.
fully fund Rosewood and reduce, the property rehab by 22,255 so that we can fully, expend the 427,755.
So we'll put a three of them, you gotta come up with 427.
We don't have to come up with it. Well, yes, we do. We've gotta, we can only spend 427,745.
How
22.
about we pull $2,745 from CD office? Can we do that?
Well, that's the number I was saying, that is, because remember, that number is off by $55. That's what I was saying.
I mean, Kathy worked that up, I mean, I
Oh, okay.
wasn't part of that, and it seems like she captured everything in terms of rates that might increase by that, so. I mean, I think if you take it from the CD property rehab, not that I, you know.
Yeah.
I would recommend that, but we were talking today, a lot of people are selling their homes, so our program income is not gonna be minuscule, I mean, they wanna get out and a lot of the investors, you know,
Right.
it's a good time for them and they're willing to pay off their loan and if there's something on lead, they'll pay that off too, just so, because they're getting a good price for their stuff, so we should have enough program income to help the office go forward, as well as the rehab too.
It's
So,
also just, 2,000 something. I mean, I'm hearing you about that. So, okay, so reduce it to get us a clean slate.
The property rehab, right?
225,255 should be what it is.
25255.
225, 255.
What did I do? 225. 255,
Right.
right? Yeah, that's what I did.
Still come out at 2.
Oh, sure.
Okay, hold on.
Because it's, you gotta do 222, 223, try 223. And it's gonna be less than that, 222, do 222. Straight across the board, and then we'll figure out how much more to put in.
222,
Do
222.
22, do 222, 0, 0, 0.
5745. So you want me to take that out of rehab?
Well, the red is not, it's not red, it's, you got
Is
5,000.
Yeah, we gotta add that back in.
Yeah.
So basically, so
the red is actually a
so do
plus.
27, do 227,745.
Yeah, that's the number. 227, 745.
Ah, there you go.
I'd like to go around the room and see if people are comfortable with the way we're allocating this?
200, but
We got straight across 200, they're getting a full amount, Rosewood Manor for the renovations.
they're not getting anything from the sidewalk.
We're not gonna fund the sidewalks at all. Are you good with that?
But,
Take a look at that. You got a computer, obviously, right?
I never agree with the sidewalk stuff that's going on anyways, in Norwich. Cause a lot of people who want new sidewalks, they have to pay part of the cost to get them. And other people like Newton Street, who got a brand new street, they got all new sidewalks for absolutely free. I don't like the whole system on what's going on with sidewalks in Norwich, and there's a lot worse sidewalks in Tappan, I can tell you right now. I drive around Norwich.
Those sidewalks are not so bad. I'm not saying
I've
they
seen a lot
don't
worse than
deserve
that.
an upgrade, but
Problem with the sidewalk stuff.
So you're good with that allocation.
so Sandra, go ahead and finalize that. And let's, Greg, is that the right number?
I mean, that's the working number you've got now. I mean, I think.
Sure.
Because they only passed the budget for HUD on Friday, so I mean, that number hasn't come down yet. So I think what I'll do is, if somehow it's bigger or less, I'll do a proportionate increase as we go forward in terms of taking it to the city council and doing 30 days. So I don't know what the number is, and you have to know what the number is before you really can go
Sure.
forward, so.
So you wouldn't recommend another meeting once we have that solid number?
I
You
mean,
feel comfortable going ahead and doing?
Unless the solid number is appreciably larger.
or smaller, I mean, you
Or
guys have been
less.
going down, you were 844, and I don't know what was in the middle, but now you're down to 806, so I don't know what's.
Mm.
Impacting that, it's a formula based on housing stock and stuff like that, and maybe.
And it might
It might go up, yeah, so when that number comes in, we'll send it out to you, and if it's, like you say, appreciably larger, maybe we'll come back just to look at that, like.
We could have a discussion, we'll be prudent. You know, if you have to have another meeting, we will.
Yeah, we could, informally decide over the internet whether or not we should
Let's
have
talk about
another
it then, but You
meeting.
don't wanna come back for another meeting?
You know, see,
You don't wanna go to the grocery store just to talk to people. Help yourself.
I should never talk to you.
Just give it the right time. Okay, if everybody agrees with all that, I would say that we could
Motion to accept the budget as proposed.
we could call a motion to accept the budget as proposed. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
And I seconded it.
You second. And
Robert's Rules of Order, you get it?
what's the next one? I want you to I think I'm gonna go take a walk around the grocery store at some point, so you're gonna give me like, tips on, the eyes.
Actually, it's called Google.
I wanna,
You can actually Google Robert's.
yeah, no, I'd rather just hear from you.
Good job.
No,
Just don't give her a
I-
chance.
No, I like the informal nature.
Just, you didn't want to be the checker.
Well, that's it,
don't wanna be
and that's a good question.
I wanna know where that $12,000 is gonna go now since then.
My life
Well, it's just-
responsibility
it's
is
part of
over.
In Wales.
In the overall allocation, what we got, like I said, timeliness, you can't have more than 1.5.
How long is it gonna stay there?
Well, we can come back and look at it, see what we spend down, and then go forward and do a recapture, a substantial amendment you gotta do. With that, then you gotta say, okay, if there's a project you wanted to do,
Well, if it's still in there, do you have to give it to them, or can't you just give it to somebody else?
well, you have to come back, you have to submit what they call a substantial amendment, a letter to HUD and say, we're gonna take money from here, from here, from here, stuff like that. But we'll be on top, we'll get a better handle on it, right now, we gotta spend.
And
our
the
money.
bottom line is if they don't spend it this year, the 12, we're talking about the 12 grand.
Yeah, it's.
If they don't spend it this year, which they won't. Then it comes back without a substantial.
It's still in the kitty, and we'll do a substantial amendment going forward at some point, you'll agree on a project or something like that, if we deem it, but we gotta spend down the money. Get timely, as they say, and then we can see what we got, so.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor,
Second.
say aye.
Aye.
I,
Well, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. I
Thank you,
really
Jeff.
appreciate that. I appreciate all of your
haven't had
hard
a-
work
we
and
haven't
all of your research and all of it. It's very, very difficult and it's very, very challenging. I know.
It's good. It's
Yeah, you need to give me a little list, okay? Say it this way, then.
No,
Ah,
Robert's Rules of Order. You have a computer and call Google. I know.
Not that.
Well, then don't correct me.
Noodles.